Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Football Betting Series here on YouTube Premier League Edition. We won all three of our Premier League picks last weekend. However, did struggle a little bit on the continent, which does mean on the week we made a slight loss. And our final April record stands at 20 wins, 6 losses, and 4 pushes for a total monthly profit of £98.29. Adding that on to our previous month's data, and our overall record stands at 77 wins, 27 losses with 11 pushes and a total series profit of £439.84. I've got 3 selections in today's episode, so if you think I'm talking some sense, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. Without further ado, let's get into it. We kick things off in the midweek on the Thursday night as 9th place Chelsea play 5th place Tottenham Hotspurs, and Chelsea managed to overturn a 2-0 deficit in their last game away at Aston Villa. A poor first half, where they trailed by 2 goals to 0, was made up well in the 62nd and 81st minutes to salvage a point. Whilst the nature of the draw is to be commended, Chelsea have only won one in their last 4 Premier League games, and their European hopes are all but gone at this point. They host a Spurs side who lost the North London derby in their last game by 3 goals to 2 against Arsenal. Arsenal ran out to a quick 3-0 lead at the interval before Spurs battled back to salvage some respect on the scoreline. They even could have hit a late equaliser, but alas, it was not to be, and the Gunners took all 3 points. Form-wise, this does mean that the wheels are starting to come off for Spurs. They've had just 1 win in their last 4 Premier League games. Although with 2 games in hand, they could still make a late run for Champions League spots if Aston Villa slip up. Head-to-head, well, it's a bit of mixed form. Each of the last 3 games has seen both sides win and a draw as well. The most recent encounter was in November, where Chelsea picked up an impressive away win, winning by 4 goals to 1. Now, this did include 2 late goals from Nico Jackson to complete his first hat-trick for the club, with goals coming in the 95th and 97th minute. My angle for this game is both sides are struggling to tie down a run of form, and the head-to-head record is similarly inconsistent, but I do think we're in store for goals today. Chelsea have seen over 2.5 goals in each of their last 8 Premier League games, where Spurs have seen 3 or more goals scored in 14 of their last 15 league games, including each of the last 3. Head-to-head, over 2.5 goals have been scored in 2 of the last 3 encounters, and I think we're looking at a similarly high-scoring game. I'm going to be taking over 2.5 goals for a full stake in bet number 1. Our second selection sees 19th place Burnley playing host to 7th place Newcastle. And Burnley managed to keep their survival hopes alive just as they drew 1-1 away at Manchester United. Whilst the draw is a positive result against a side in the top half of the table, they really do need to start winning games. They have only won 1 in their last 6. But there is a silver lining, as they have only lost 1 game in this stretch. The key for Company is turning draws into wins if Burnley are to stay up this season. The away side Newcastle, they beat Burnley's fellow relegation candidate Sheffield United by 5 goals to 1. The Toon overturned an early deficit and really made their class show in the second half, and they're still very much in the race for European football this season. That particular result means that Newcastle have won 3 of their last 4 Premier League games, and they're looking to finish the season strong in this match. Head-to-head, the reverse fixture did finish 2-0 to the Magpies. This continues a run of 5 straight wins against Burnley. My take for the game is a very simple one. Burnley are all but relegated to this point, and Newcastle have European football to fight for. I think we're going to see a strong Newcastle side overpower a Burnley side, which is destined for the Championship. I'm going to be backing the away side Newcastle for a full stake in bet number 2. Our third and final selection in today's episode sees 12th place Brighton and Hove Albion playing host to 4th place Aston Villa. And Brighton were beaten soundly in their last game against Bournemouth. They lost by 3 goals to 0. This does mean that the Seagulls are now winless in their last 5 Premier League games. The away side Aston Villa, they managed to draw their last game against Chelsea, and they would have been perhaps disappointed to surrender a 2-goal half-time lead, with Chelsea scoring twice in the second half to salvage that away draw. Whilst Emery would have hoped for the 3 points, the draw does mean that Aston Villa are unbeaten in their last 4 Premier League games. When we look at the head-to-head record, the reverse fixture was won by Aston Villa by 6 goals to 1. This result continued a run of 5 straight wins against the Seagulls. In summary, it's crunch time for Aston Villa as they're looking to secure 4th place in the Premiership and guarantee Champions League football next season. They're going to be highly motivated to put in a good result here and pick up some more points. Whereas Brighton, well, they don't really have anything to shout about. They can't progress into Europe and they've got no fears of relegation. So I'm going to be laying the home side here in the final bet of the episode. So there we have it, 3 picks in today's episode, starting off in the middle of the week. Chelsea host Spurs. We're taking over 2.5 goals, odds of 1.35. £30 stake to return £10.50. On the Saturday, Burnley host Newcastle. We're going to be backing the away side at what I think are really reasonable odds, 2.06, a £30 stake to return 31.80. And finally, on the Sunday, Brighton host Aston Villa. We're going to be laying the home side at odds of around 1.5, £30 stake to return £14 and 30 pence. So across the weekend, we're going to be risking £90 to hopefully pick up as much as £56 and 60 pence. Will we do so? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to tune into the next episode. But if you have made it to this point in the video, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. And as always, have yourself a lovely day.